UFC 327 has just wrapped up, and Mr. Kenny, main event Kenny, strikes again. But I just think it's fate. I'm wrapping this up because it's getting late. Some fights were boring and some fights were great. 7+1 because Ulberg just ate. Yes. 7+1 because Ulberg just ate. He ate, He ate, man. Oh, Jiri, man. Jiri. Now, I knew what this fight was, and I knew it was close, guys. When I do film work on main events, I do it more than any other YouTuber, and I know I do because I see things that others don't. Now, the narrative going into this one, which I actually understood because before I did tape, I had Jiri winning. It was that Jiri's going to take him to deep waters, and he's going to melt him. He's going to drown him. After watching footage, I was like, the openings of Jiri and the skill of Ulberg. First of all, before I even get into like how I kind of got like aced that, this fight was unfortunate for Jiri. I gotta be honest, man. Guys, I was almost like, this wasn't meant to be for Ulberg. I think I even said that, like watching it, like, this is not meant to be. He just wasn't meant to win today. He blew out his knee. I don't know if it was meniscus, MCL, ACL, but he blew something out on his back leg. And that immediately just takes away his best weapon, which is his low kick. I'm pretty sure he was forced to stand in southpaw. He was just uncomfortable. He could barely, he was limping. He could barely stand. He was falling over himself, dude. Like, in my head, the fight was, it was kind of lost. Now, most people know people who watching my stream know I put 750 on Ulberg, 700, because I was just confident in my abilities. And then once that happened, I really this is a sign, just never bet again. This is a sign that it wasn't meant, like, Ulberg's not going to get it done. Jiri Prochazka being who I think he was, and which is why I picked Ulberg, he showed why my decision was wise. Because this guy's compromised. Jiri was throwing some low kicks and he was falling over himself, looking goofy. And that wasn't even the leg that he had compromised. I believe he was keeping it behind him. But Jiri was throwing those leg kicks. He was falling over himself. And Jiri was almost like inviting him to like come fight. I really think Jiri had like a lapse of judgment. I will say that I feel for him. I do feel for Jiri a bit. It felt like he wanted him to he was almost like giving him a chance. Like, come on, come to the center. Let's fight. He didn't want to just jump on him. But that's what like the narrative is. You know what I actually think when I really think about it? I think Jiri understood the risk of entering against Carlos Ulberg. Now, I was making it evident that going into this fight that Jiri was too reckless and Ulberg was a really good counterpuncher. Specifically, I highlighted in my PowerPoint slides that I make when I watch 100+ hours of this fight. I make those videos for a reason, guys. I highlighted the left hook of Ulberg. He has caught people coming in with his left hook and slept them. I highlighted in that video as well Jiri's notable loss against Alex Pereira and how stylistically him and Ulberg happen to be similar. And Pereira happens to have a really good left hook. You know who else has a good left hook? Ulberg. Seems like someone with like heavy hands, which I do feel like Ulberg has. You guys got like looking at some of his fights, he does have power, especially in that hook. I do think this is a notable loss because of stylistic similarities. The low kicks and the left hook. Jiri's ability to avoid left hooks have always been trash. It's always been like, it's not hard to watch when you watch footage. He gets caught with left hooks like nothing, night and day. Now, there's also a narrative surrounding Jiri's chin. Going into this, I said his chin's questionable. I always thought he was kind of chinny. He always gets hurt and kind of wobbled. And I feel like people didn't understand the power Ulberg possessed. And I was trying to like preface that in my video. I'm like, guys, he has power. People don't think he has power, but he has power to put him away. Like one of the most power Jiri's going to stand in front of since Pereira. I even highlighted how I think Ulberg has more knockout power than Pereira in that video. And I do still stand by it because Ulberg has one punch people. Pereira has not in the UFC. And it kind of showed there. It was a grazing left hook. It almost felt like the Adesanya Pereira situation. Ulberg kind of puts up a high guard. Then he lets go of that hook and it lands flush. And it almost like puts Jiri out quick. Jiri was out, man. Like once he hit the floor, Ulberg just chained together the combos and he just went in there and he finished him, and I do think it was a little bit of Jiri giving him too much respect, kind of like felt for him in a bit. But even if he didn't fall for him, it was almost like that was bound to happen because there was times like Jiri was trying to like get in the boxing range, but every time he did, Jiri walked into about 2-3 left hooks like while that fight was ongoing. he would kind of just run into the left hook. I'm like, it's right there for Ulberg. In my head, I was like, Ulberg's going to catch him eventually. Yuri's too reckless. When the knee situation happened, like my attitude, of course, switched because like, oh shit, it's over. Like if he doesn't, he's over. You know, but Jiri was still just hands low. Jiri always has his hands low. I always said about Jiri, his awkwardness doesn't even make him better. Jiri's best weapon is his presence over time. But like the extra awkwardness, keeping your hands down, like hitting your chest and doing all this, it doesn't really help you against skilled strikers. His unorthodox weird stance switches, unironically, guys, I don't want to say does more harm than good, but it leads to him getting caught a lot and touched a lot. Pause. But I really think the finishes come less from him being weird and more from him being overwhelming with his presence in there. Listen, if Jiri was just overwhelming with his presence and did a lot less weird shit, he actually might be better. Like that sounds, he actually might be better if he just keeps the same like energy, but he's a little bit more smart with it. But he wants to just fucking do one of these, man. Strikers. This was a skilled kickboxer you're in front of. This is actually the only other skilled kickboxer you've been in front of since Alex Pereira. No offense to Jamal Hill, guys. He's not a skilled kickboxer. No offense to Khalil Roundtree. He's a Muay Thai fighter for 2 rounds straight. He's not even known for his counter punches. People like Khalil do their best work when they come forward at intervals in almost like a sprint. He comes forward in intervals, like blitzes in, and then he backs off. Pereira and both Ulberg are both known for their counter punching as well as their forward ability. You know, so this is just Jiri going against another counter striker that he couldn't deal with that left hook style. You know, man, this one was sweet for me because I think I was the only big YouTuber who actually was backing Ulberg in this. A lot of people were just going off like the casual, oh, dude, he's just gonna last, dude, and just melt him. My thing was, the reason I had Jiri, like just like other people before I watched footage and before fight week is because I saw what most people saw, that Jiri can break people, and Ulberg has been broken in his UFC debut against Kenan Nezuchuku. But when I realized that he got broken due to him like kind of being overexerting himself, throwing 150 strikes in a round and a half, I knew it was more on him than anyone else. I don't know why this always zooms in. Whereas in this fight, like, I knew he was going to fight smart, which he was. He wasn't taking absurd risks. He was taking his time. He was low kicking. He was breaking Jiri's base, drawing Jiri in, swinging. He's almost like feinting his left hook, swinging Jiri in, trying to get Jiri to bait himself and put himself on his chin on the platter. Eventually, it happened just in the most compromising position. It took Ulberg being compromised for Jiri to grow in confidence. You could see when Jiri, like right before he got caught, like he was trying to start to go for the headshots because he was landing some leg shots. He saw that Ulberg was getting his brace broken. Guys, the next step when you break someone's base is to start going head hunting. That's just how it works. You know, we've seen the best do it. Izzy did it against Costa, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. First of all, that nigga's a different person all of a sudden. But we've seen it with Izzy Costa. You know, we see it a lot of times with Yuzri Belgori, Pereira's training partner, in his last fight, took the base out on the legs and starts going to head hunting. At that point, like, Jiri already had some low kicks that folded Ulberg because Ulberg had no base on his legs. So then he was like, okay, it's time to start going ahead. The second he even tried to even think of throwing something to the head, he gets caught coming in with the left hook. Fast, quick. And that's what Ulberg does the best. His left hook, fast and quick, catches him, puts him to sleep, bro. It was going to happen regardless. I think people got to understand that. It wasn't like an unfortunate thing that, like, Jiri had this was Jiri's best chance of winning, and he still showed that in his best opportunity of winning, his flaws are still evident to the point where Ulberg could still exploit them with his pros. I knew what Ulberg's pros and cons were going into this fight because I made the video, and I knew what Jiri's pros and cons was. I had to look at this fight from a skill point of view, and I knew that Ulberg's pros and cons could be used to his benefit more than Jiri's. The only way Jiri could have won this fight was off of just kind of heart and stuff, but like that's not something you ever want to bet on going into a fight as far as like an intellectual standpoint. Felt for Jiri, but he was Jiri in this fight, and ultimately his Jiri fight style only works with specific styles, specific people who aren't that good at technical kickboxing. You can't really name any great technical kickboxer that Jiri's went against except for Alex Pereira and Carlos Ulberg, and what they have in common, they both chin the guy. If you look at Alex Pereira, he caught Jiri coming in the second fight with the left hook, leaning backwards. The same thing happened in this fight. He caught Jiri coming in with the left hook. The footage has always been there. This was not a hard fight to pick, objectively speaking. What made this fight more interesting was the 5 rounds and if Jiri could weather the storm. I didn't believe Jiri could weather the storm, and that's why I said it would be very likely if Ulberg chins him in the first 2 rounds, and that's what happened ultimately. Ulberg chins him in the first 2 rounds at his worst state. If you can't beat Ulberg at this state, Jiri really had no chance, you know. Jiri's not a bad fighter at all. He's good at what he's good at, but there's certain styles that he just can't deal with. I think stylistically he does better against the ankle live and shit, you know, but it's just not the case with like a counter-punching kickboxer like Carlos Ulberg. Shout out Carlos Ulberg, well deserved. People are salty about it, but people who knew ball knew what was coming in this one. and they knew Ulberg was gonna get it done. Poor Jiri, I did feel for him, I was celebrating like crazy when the win happened, but I did feel for him. Ulberg is just the better fighter objectively, though, so it's not too surprising to me. I was surprised that he did it that compromised, though. Man, Jiri, you need to tighten up that defense, man. It just shows a big flaw in Yuri's game. His defensive striking has never been good, but not being good when someone's that compromised is almost concerning. It's almost borderline like, are you okay, dude? He was that compromised and you still couldn't put your hands up? Okay, well, I'm not even getting to it too much. Jiri shits the bed. Ulberg gets it done. Congrats to Ulberg for being the new light heavyweight champion. CKB, we're back. 35-year-old champion. Let's go, Ulberg. Wow, man. You got to applaud him, because they were all down Ulberg. Except me. Going on to the co-main event, which I have a lot to say. Azamat was my lock, as well as Hokit, but Azamat was really my lock going into this one. More so than Ulberg, even more so than Hokit, even more so than some of like the Gamrot fight. This is one of the 3 fights I got wrong. I did pretty good on this card. 3 fights wrong is not too bad. Maybe I could have done better, but it's not too bad. I was very confident Azamat, guys, winning this fight. Costa looked good. I want to say that first. Costa looked not just good, better than I ever seen him look. Azamat kind of looked like Azamat. Azamat against Rakic, he was taking those low kicks, taking those body kicks by Rakic, even those head kicks, he was blocking all of them, but he was tanking them. And he ultimately caught Rakic early in the first round. I believe it was the first round. He caught him coming in with a jab, It makes me think, like, if he never caught him, would Azamat just have melted him like Costa did? Costa had a good first round. He was doing a lot of running, or I was calling it running, but it was actually pretty good movement. Azamat had a hard time tracking him down. He was moving really well with that heavy body kick. I thought Costa was going to win the first round, honestly. So when he lost it, I was surprised about how good Costa looked, but I was like, Costa's moving too much. He's getting fatigue. Second round, I was right. Like, he was fatiguing. He started sitting in front of Azamat. Azamat was landing big shots. Azamat was kind of just hunting that, kind of what Gutierrez did in one of his fights, just hunting that power hand, trying to land that power left. And he was landing in the second round, and then they kind of Azamat trips over himself or something. He gets on top of Costa, gets on top of him. Round 2 ends. At that point, I thought Costa was fading. I was like, okay, Costa's fading. Round 3 starts. Costa comes out aggressive, big low kick, big body kick, head kick, wobbles him. Another head kick, partially blocked, but he started just whipping head kicks. He went to the great game plan. Holy fuck, great game plan. He was going to the legs the whole time, going to the body the whole time. Then he starts mixing in the head. Azamat doesn't see it coming. It just took one to catch him off guard. Azamat got head kicked in the last one. He was like, I don't want to be here anymore. These Russians, and he's giving up. He gave up, He got head kicked again. Of course it rocked him, but he was like, he kind of just took it and was like, fuck it, I can't do that. I can't take another one of those. And kind of falls on the ground. He was rocked, yeah, but it wasn't like he was out cold. It was more like he made a decision. Some of these Russian guys, you got to get their heart checked. Dude, Costa surprised me, He looked better than he's ever looked. This did not look like... And guys, smaller man skill is real, It's got to be real. Because I know it's real to an extent, but Costa went up and beat Azamat, the 16-0 power puncher with way better boxing, in my opinion. But even Costa's boxing wasn't too bad. He was getting outboxed, obviously, but his boxing surprised me. Guys, Victoria can go up to light heavyweight and beat a lot of these guys. I didn't know that until today. Victoria kind of schooled Costa. So I don't understand shit sometimes. I didn't watch footage for this, I'll be honest, but I didn't feel like I need to. Why the fuck would I need to? What the hell? How good is Israel Adesanya? But for real, guys, Costa's good, and he's going to be fighting Ulberg next for the title, most likely. Pereira's out of it. Middleweights must be really good, guys. Izzy might have to say fuck it and go up a weight class, because I didn't realize. Ulberg's champion now, so that's not happening. But yeah, we're gonna see Costa versus Ulberg, and I think Ulberg's probably gonna win, the same way Izzy beat him, literally the same exact way Izzy beat him. But yeah, Azamat being 5'10", I guess short for the weight class. Costa looked big. He looked bigger than him, and I kind of expected that, and I wasn't surprised by that. I was more surprised about Costa's movement. Costa obviously can't move like that for 5 rounds. He looked like he was wilting a bit. But Azamat just had a hard time tracking him down. This is one of my most confident picks that I got wrong. So I was a bit disappointed in myself in this one, because I was very confident Azamat just getting it done against him, but he just couldn't. Costa seemed better. Costa looked like the best he's ever looked like, though. Costa's actively getting better, which is a little bit weird for me. I guess I'm not. I guess he was at the Victoria. I think I'm underrating how good Victoria is or something. I don't know. I think I took too much stock in that Victoria fight. Maybe Costa just wasn't ready. Costa just like, and then Sean Strickland. Dude, Sean Strickland should go up to light heavyweight. I swear to God, he should. He's naturally like fucking fat as hell outside of camp. He can make the weight comfortably. He will school Costa again because his gay style. And I think he could actually he'll beat Azamat too. Some of these guys, man, they might have to just move up. These middleweights might just be better than these light heavyweights because Costa was not like a top middleweight. Like, respectfully, Costa's not beating Imavov. Costa was not beating Strickland. He's not beating these guys. He's not beating Hamza. He's not beating Adesanya even right now. But he could beat Azamat, who's a 16-0, pretty solid light heavyweight. Maybe I overrated Azamat, I don't know. But I was very impressed by this performance. Costa did a great work with those body kicks, the low kicks, and the head kicks. Great game plan by Costa, great execution, and congrats to Costa. One of the few fights I got wrong. Okay, fight. Oh my God, this card was pretty good, eh? Fight of the year. Best fight of all time. Dare I say? Guys, these guys threw over 400 strikes collectively in a 3-round fight as heavyweights, as heavy human beings, as people who carry excess weight. I said Josh Hokit was going to win because he's better than Curtis Blaydes. Now, the fight didn't go how I expected, though. Like, if that makes sense. I thought it could look like this, but, like, not that high output. Guys, Josh Hokit nearly killed him in the first 2 minutes. Didn't get him out of there, and then fatigued. I saw that. I was like, ooh, chincha. I was like, shibai, you know? I was shocked. I was almost like, okay, it's looking bad. Hawkins looked like he's starting to fatigue. I was like, oh, no. Dude, Hawkins was like, Hawkins kind of gained over. Fuck, he gained over. He was giving the middle finger while like kind of drunk standing. Look like, oh, she bye, brother. Real bad, man. You get. I would give him that, man. I did pick him going into this. I did say I liked like what he's trying to do. He's a bit annoying to me, but I like what I like his purpose. He got booked. He got confirmed to fight Derek Lewis now in the White House after that performance. Him and Derek Lewis on the White House. Anyways, that's for a different video, I suppose. But dude, he brought it to Blaydes. What's interesting and good about this fight for Hawkins is this fight was all heart. This fight was all like willpower and heart. He has the skills. I really do think he has the skills. I think he's going to smoke Lewis. But like I said, that's for another video. He has the skills to beat a lot of these top heavyweights. But like he has the willpower as well. He's never been the distance like that with that crazy output. But he went the distance, man. And he fought his heart out. You know, like he was in a dogfight and he won the rounds 2 and 3 pretty clearly. Round 1, it actually looked like he was going to give up on himself. But even when on his lowest points, he was still throwing up the middle finger, having fun. This he has aura, man. He gained a lot of popularity. Blaydes surprised me. I did think Blaydes was going to lose. I just thought Hawkins was better. You know, but Blaydes surprised me with his durability, his toughness. You know, Blaydes had 30 pounds on him, almost 40 pounds on him. So he's a bigger guy. You can see it sometimes in the clinch and sometimes. But Hawkins, even when he was taken down, got back up to his feet. He was fighting. This is a great fight. This fight, I was smiling. I was just going crazy. Just so much happening in this fight, bro. It was a badass fight. Josh Hockit's a dog. Curtis Blaydes is a dog. But Josh Hokit, man, his stock went up immensely. And I don't know when the White House card's in the summer, so he has time to recover. But this is a life-changing fight for him. This is a fight that like almost raises his confidence in his cardio and his ability. And I do think if he sticks to a game plan, he's going to be very hard to beat. But the fact that he could throw out a game plan and still outwork Curtis Blaydes, who is a bigger, stronger guy and more experienced guy in decision fights, you know, you got to tip your hat off of him. Yeah, I was pretty confident in this one, but I will say Blaydes surprised me. Both guys kind of surprised me to a sense. But Hawkins put on fight of the year, man. And throwing that much strikes, both guys. I think Blaydes threw about like... Damn, look at those total strikes. Wait, it says actually total strikes were 345 for Blaydes, 298 for Hawkins. So they threw them. Oh my God. I mean, they landed over 400 strikes, but they threw even more. These guys, man, that pace was just disgusting. Disgusting pace, honestly. Both guys almost like Hawkins throwing about 300 strikes and then this guy throwing about 350. How you throwing that much strikes as a fucking heavyweight? You fat mushy bike. They're eating burgers at home a little bit. The big guys. They're throwing that much. It's absurd pace. I've never seen it. Like I've never seen that kind of pace in heavyweight. I can't believe they gave us that treat. How dare they give us a treat that good? That fight was so mwah. Great fight by Hawkins. He shows heart and he gains a lot of support from me. Even though I hate his gimmick, I like him. Fuck, I like him, eh? Damn it. Just damn it, eh? He's a bit annoying and I didn't want to, but I just can't help myself. He really performed well and I have to give him his flowers. Moving on from that fight. Okay, I think we deserved that fight. The universe gave us this fight before. I did say Reyes is gonna win. Reyes gets the win. Yeah, just low level. They're both scared of getting chinned, so they kind of ran the whole time. Walker won the first round. Reyes won the last two, in my opinion. It was split, but I thought Reyes was a pretty obvious winner for the last two. Stupid fight, embarrassing fight. Both should be cut. Sorry. If they had a fun fight, maybe they could have skipped the line against Costa and Azamat, but now Costa's definitely getting that title shot. They blew their shot. They're not getting a title shot. No one got a post-fight interview because they didn't deserve it. Yeah, at least they didn't get chin. I guess that's what they wanted to go for, not getting chin. Congratulations, you didn't get chin, either of you guys. But congratulations on never fighting for the title again. Cub Swanson, great retirement fight. He actually looked like the best he's ever looked in his life, including his WEC run. Kind of just melting. He was melting Nate. Like, he was kind of beating Nate everywhere. Yeah, he kind of just schooled him, eh? Like, there's not really much to take away from that fight other than he schooled him, got the first round finish. Every single straight punch he was trying to throw, it landed flush. Just had a field day on Nate. Nate's known for being durable, wasn't durable enough in this one. There was no durability that could have got him the win in that fight. He just, no matter how durable he was, it just seemed like Cub Swanson was on one. Got it done against him, kind of pieced him up pretty well. And great retirement, great way to retire. Like, he's probably going to get a bonus because he retired and shit, but a lot more people deserving a bonus, like Carlos Ulberg. But I got to say congrats to Cub Swanson. I hope he gets 100K. Good for the guy in his retirement. Pico versus Pitbull. I was very impressed by this. I did say I think Pico was going to win. Pico did get the win, of course. Pico looked good. The first round, I was scared because I was like, oh my God, the chin. But like, eventually he started to get comfortable. You could see when he started to get comfortable. And it was like, you know what? This guy's probably not going to chin me. Once he made that switch and like had that understanding, his boxing, dude, his combos of his boxing was so good. He had some really good time takedowns. Skill for skill, he's one of the best in the featherweight division, hands down. Skill for skill, are you kidding me? Not a lot of people, if anyone, if any, are skill for skill up there with him. His biggest detriment's going to be his chin. I know that. You know, like a Gene Silva would be a hard fight for him because chin and stuff. But like, as far as skill goes, guys, you're not going to outskill him. The Volk fight's interesting because Volk doesn't have crazy power, but Volk's boxing against his boxing will be just interesting to look at. He doesn't have, like, he has great takedown entries. He's not great at holding people down. To be fair, Pitbull he has like the Volk frame, the short, compact frame, hard to hold down, fights the hands well, gets back to his feet. But the way Pico put a beating on him, I do think Pitbull's chin's better than most people. Some people aren't taking that damage. I'm going to be so real. The beats on him, Dr. Dre style, y'all are not taking that damage. Pico's really good. I do think he's better than Lerone. I always think the Lerone fight was a little bit fluky in a way. You know, he didn't fight patient. Like, he fought like an idiot against Lerone and still almost killed him. The way he fought here, he showed good cardio. He showed good boxing. He showed good wrestling. Just showed very well roundedness. When he fights like a normal person and not an idiot, he's actually pretty good. Like, pretty good. Like, he didn't tire. He looked good. His skills were there. He schooled Pitbull in this fight very well. Congrats to Aaron Pico. Keeping my eye on him. I already knew he was talented, but this kind of like confirmed what I thought I knew of him. Pico's good, dude. You're not going to want to fight him if you're unranked. Now he's ranked because he just beat number 13. I think Pitbull was ranked. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but he's going to be ranked after this fight. You know, Yair is going to avoid him. I think he beats Yair. I think he beats a lot of these other guys, but I want to see more of him before I fully glaze him. But I will say his boxing, combos, and all that is just beautiful to watch. His wrestling entry is just beautiful to watch. He's a really good person. Keep your eye on Aaron Pico, and great pick by me. This is one of the 3 picks I got wrong. Yeah, this one was like, I think the pick I should have got right that I got wrong. Yeah, Kevin Holland just had a good game. Like, Kevin Holland fought kind of smart. He was kind of going for low kicks. Randy Brown doesn't know how to check low kicks still. He's still learning at his grown age at 38 or something, 35. Who knows? 35-year-old prospect day. But yeah, Holland kind of just goes in there and just outworks him. Yeah, outworks him. I think there was even a point deduction. I forgot. I think there was. I don't really remember this fight much because there was so much crazy fights that made me lose my mind. But I remember in the third round, I think it was 1-1 maybe, and then the third round, Holland wins it. Oh, wait, wasn't it like 3-0 Holland on the scorecard too? I don't really remember. I remember my stream crashed on the third round, right? That's what happened. My stream crashed in the third round, so I didn't see much of it. It looked like Randy Brown just holding him against the fence. But before that, I thought round 1 was Brown. That's what I thought. I thought round Brown was Brown because I thought Brown cut him open. Then I thought Brown on the ground, he upkicked him and hurt him more and had more moments. But no judge really saw what I saw. So, yeah, Kevin Holland 3-0, 2-1 was probably the right scorecard. But either way, shout out Kevin Holland, gets it done. I was very wrong about this one. I just thought Randy Brown was going to be better at using his length and land that 1-2. The first round he was trying to land that 1-2. He cut him open. He was coming close, but Holland was just doing a good job kind of backing up. Yeah, good fight by Holland. I got that one wrong because it's just lack of IQ. Gamrot versus Ribovics. I did say I thought Gamrot's going to make it look easy. I actually had Gamrot by sub or points. He actually gets a submission. Shout out Gamrot for that submission. Gamrot looked good. Like, you can't get, like, you give anyone who's unranked to Gamrot, he's going to treat them like that. Kind of reminded me of the Ludovic Klein fight. Ludovic Klein's really good, but I knew Gamrot was better. Or, you know, kind of like what happened here. Like, Gamrot was better. Like, that Ludovic Klein fight made me realize how good Gamrot is with taking people down. I was rewatching Ribovics versus, like, Russian dude. I remember him getting mauled by the Russian dude. I was like, oh, my God. Gamrot's going to do the same thing to him, but worse. Precisely what happened. Give Gamrot someone ranked. Like, he beat Dan Hooker, got robbed, but, like, who gives a shit about that? Give him someone and just don't rob him if he wins. But, yeah, Gamrot's not bad. He showed, he doesn't submit people much, but he showed a submission game against Ribovics here. Ribovics not bad, but, like, these Ribovics Huber people, like, they're kind of mid now to me. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm not going to lie. The UFC Noche gassed up some people who aren't even deserved of it. I'm starting to realize that looking back at that card. But shout out Gamrot getting it done. I thought it was a pretty easy pick, and Gamrot does solidify that. Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi Godinez. I did have Suarez winning this. She does get it done by submission. Not really wicked surprised here. I would say Lupi kind of had a weird game plan. She tried to wrestle a bit, kind of got reversed in the first round, mauled and submitted. Tatiana Suarez looked good. She, you know, great Kali. Great Kali Maxon gets it done against Lupi. She's good. Not good enough to be champion, but she's good. Now that Mackenzie Dern's champion, maybe she could have an interesting fight there, but who knows? Zhang Weili's, she went up and she vacated that title. So until Weili comes back, Suarez actually could be a champion. Because if Dern's a champion of a weight class, anyone could be champion. Early prelims, I had Medeiros winning this one. It ended up being a draw. One judge gave it to Medeiros. Honestly, looking back at it, like, I did think Medeiros, honestly, I don't know what I thought. Low-key, I thought Padilla won. But the fact that one judge gave it to Medeiros and two of them were majority draw was interesting. Yeah, point deduction kind of sold. Without the point deduction, Medeiros won. You know, it was close, though. It was 1-1. You know, the third round was pretty close. And the point deduction, listen, I don't mind point deductions, but, like, in a 1-1 fight where the rounds are close, point deducting is kind of stupid in the last 30 seconds of a fight. Like, how much was Keith Peterson paid off, weirdo? Nigga, the last 30 seconds, come on, let it be. I would have got this fight right. It would have been beautiful. But anyways, Medeiros with the win. Listen, who gives a shit? Anyways, Medeiros won in my heart because one judge gave it to him. Gastelum versus Luque. This is the third. The first fight I got wrong, and, like, the last of the three I got wrong. I thought Gastelum was going to get it done. Gastelum had good hands, but it seemed like once he got to a front headlock position, the refrigerator was screwed. Refrigerators can't defend chokes. Fun fact. Great on Luque, though, finding a way to get the win. Silent Assassin gets it done against the Refrigerator Gastelum. Kelvin, not Kevin, Kelvin. With a name like Kelvin, you should keep losing. This is a bad loss for him. He should have won this fight, in my opinion. He was a better boxer. Should have kept it standing, but couldn't do that right. Charles Radke, I did say he's going to get it done against Prado. He does get it done. He gets it done by UD. Pretty easy pick here. Nothing crazy, nothing controversial. I do think Radke got it done. Kind of just mauled him and took him to deep waters. Overall, pretty solid card, you know. I did pretty good. How much fights were they total? I actually don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, okay. So we went 9 out of 12. That's not that good, honestly. It sounds that weird. But 3 fights wrong, 9 right. Not too bad. Yeah, great card. Main event was crazy, but Mr. Kenny strikes again. Main event, Kenny strikes again. Don't doubt my main event picks. Undefeated number cards. Best main event predictor this year. Do your research on me. Don't doubt me. Have a good one. God bless. 2, 3.